Hello, good morning and welcome to the World Today Live on the Metro TV Live on DSTV channel 277. I am Bright Nanakwasi Amini, and coming up in the next 60 minutes, we take you to China, where the World Health Organization is asking the Chinese to provide data on the origin of COVID-19 and also to the Tokyo 2020, the first team to appear as migrant from Libya joining this year's competition in Tokyo. And here in Africa, the World Health Organization is reporting that there's been an increase of 40% infections of COVID-19 here in Africa. This and many more here on the World Today. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us. And first in the news. Now, 10,000 South African soldiers were in streets as of Thursday morning, July 15, 2021, to help quell days of looting and violence, a cabinet minister said.
The rioting first broke out in response to the jailing of ex-president Jacob Zuma last week for his failure to appear at a corruption inquiry. It swiftly degenerated into looting and destruction, driven by widespread anger over the hardship and inequality that nearly 3 decades of democracy since the end of apartheid have failed to address. The ransacking of stores has left food and other essentials in short supply, and the closure of many petrol stations has also hit transport supply lines. An unknown number of people have been forced out of work due to the destruction of businesses, which is likely to exacerbate the poverty and desperation that partly fueled the riots. Half of South Africans are below the official poverty line, and unemployment stood at a record high of 32.6% in the first 3 months of 2021, thanks partly to the impact of COVID-19 on the economy.
Still in Africa, recorded a 40% rise in COVID-19 deaths this week compared with last week, as infections and hospital admissions have jumped and the countries face shortages of oxygen and intensive care beds. Now, the World Health Organization, WHO, said on Wednesday, July 15, 2021.
Organization said Africa's case fatality rate, the proportion of deaths among confirmed cases, currently stands at 2.6% against the global average of 2.2%. Deaths have climbed steeply for the past 5 weeks. This is a clear warning sign that hospitals in the most impacted countries are reaching a breaking point.
As this surge sweeps across Africa, we're witnessing the brutal cost in lives lost. Deaths have climbed steeply for the past 5 weeks, jumping 40% in the past week. This is a clear warning. Our hospitals are at a breaking point. In all, 153,000 people have sadly died.
Matshidiso Moeti, World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa. The surge has been driven by public fatigue, with key health measures aimed at curbing the spread and an increased spread of virus variants.
This COVID-19 resurgence is the fastest the continent has seen. New cases have increased for the 8th consecutive week, and 18 African countries are now in resurgence.
World Health Organization said Africa has seen one of the world's fastest surge in cases, with an additional 1 million over the past month.
Now, still on health, the head of World Health Organization said on Thursday that investigations into the origins of COVID-19 pandemic in China were being hampered by the lack of raw data on the first days of the spread there, and urged it to be more transparent.
We are asking actually China to be transparent, open, and cooperate, especially on the information raw data that we asked for at the early days of the pandemic. One of the challenges is what you mentioned, access to raw data, especially the data at the start of the pandemic. The raw data was not shared. There was a premature push to, especially reduce one of the options, like the lab theory. As you know, I was a lab technician myself. I'm an immunologist, and I have worked in the lab. And lab accidents happen. It's common. I have seen it happening, and I myself had errors. So it can happen, and we need information, direct information on what the situation of these labs was before and at the start of the pandemic. Then if we get full information, we can exclude that. So one of the challenges, again, is, a challenge of access and also transparency with regard to the hypotheses that are.
Still with the WHO. Now, the head also stated on the Thursday that investigations into the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic in China were being hampered by the lack of raw data. He's also talking about laboratories and its theories.
There was a premature push to, especially reduce one of the options, like the lab theory. As you know, I was a lab technician myself. I'm an immunologist, and I have worked in the lab. And lab accidents happen. It's common. I have seen it happening, and I myself had errors. So it can happen.
We do appreciate the cooperation of the Chinese government so far for the first mission, but that's not yet enough, obviously. Like the G7 leaders called on more investigations, we fully support this, and so we can just call on China to intensify the cooperation to examine the origin of this virus, to learn for the future, but as Tedros just said, we owe it to the people.
We look forward to working with our Chinese counterparts on that process, and the Director General will outline measures to Member States, I believe, Katharina, tomorrow, on Friday. Tomorrow is Friday, I lose track of the days around here, in order to create a more stable and predictable process moving forward as we seek the answers that the Director General has laid out.
Still watching us live here on The World Today Live on Metro TV. We are back from this break with more.
The search for a reliable partner in dealing with your U-turn bus needs has been made easier and convenient with SA Automobile. SA Automobile, formerly U-turn Ghana Limited, has been in the business of offering quality U-turn products and services at competitive rates. At SA Automobile, our team of expert staff, management, engineers and mechanics professionally deal in the sale of U-turn buses, genuine spare parts, its repairs and maintenance at a highly effective workshop with remarkable speed. We also have available the sale of Camel car batteries, Weichai and Kia spare parts, Zonton coaches and light-duty vehicles for everyday movement. Contact us on 020-000-0831 or 054-555-7500. You can also email us info@saautomobilegh.com or visit our website at www.saautomobilegh.com. SA Automobile, the pleasure of doing business with you is all ours.
HD logo the bottom. Wait you say HD local channels na mo and so pictures near clear. They are 5 times better. As other channels that could be sure. So the mention I'm trying to why. Oh, what the pictures. What a picture! What do AD plus decoder or multi TV and now natural agent PR natural local channels now HD the here so better star 879 hash numbers from people box you and now you activate AD channels now. Look at
Get an HD Plus decoder from now till the 9th of August for just $89.99 Ghana cedis and enjoy 3 months free subscription. Enjoy all the excitement and live sports action in the HD Plus Air Bosso Fili promo. Promo lasts from 7th June to 9th August 2021. Visit hd-plus.com.gh or call 024-243-9872 for more info.
Half a nose for good things.
Welcome back. Now, some 35 million American families are set to receive their first monthly payout from the U.S. government in an expanded income support program that President Joe Biden on Thursday, July 15, argued can help end child poverty.
Historic day. Historic day in the sense that we continue to build an economy that respects and recognizes the dignity working class families and middle class families. It's historic, and it's our effort to make another giant step toward ending child poverty in America. I think this will be one of the things that the Vice President and I will be most proud of when our terms are up. Beginning this morning, nearly all working families, that is people making under $150,000 as families or an individual making under $120,000, $25,000, who have children or raising children in America, they're going to receive their first monthly tax cut payment. That payment from the expanded child tax credit is to be signed into law as part of our American Rescue Plan. It's one of the largest ever single tax cuts for families with children. And it's a reflection of our belief that the people of this country who need a tax cut aren't the folks at the top. They've gotten plenty of tax cuts. They're doing just fine. But it's the people in the middle, the folks who are struggling, who are just looking for a little bit of, my dad would say, a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of breathing. For you, anybody under the age of 13, this has got to be boring for you, right? Well, I tell you what, we had to work something out here so that when this is over, your parents, your uncles, your aunts, whoever you're with, they owe you some ice cream or something for this, you know? Folks, and here's how the tax credit works. For every child under the age of 6, a parent will get $3,600 a year. For every child 6 to 17, they'll get $3,000. And to give you a sense of how transformative this would be the largest ever one-year decrease in child poverty in the history of the United States of America. May God protect our troops and kids. Thank you for being so polite while I was speaking. You're very, very nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you all. Bye-bye.
And such good news from the White House, the President Joe Biden. Good news there. Let's now go to Germany. At least 46 people have died due to severe flooding in Western Europe caused by what experts described as the heaviest rainfall in the country. Now, up to 70 people are missing in Germany after flash floods swept across western and south part of the country, causing buildings to collapse, police said on Thursday. Now, Germany is worst hit with 40 people killed, while 6 people died in Belgium. Luxembourg and the Netherlands are also affected. Now, according to Andreas Friedrich, a German weather service DWD spokesman, some areas we had not seen this much rainfall in 100 years, he stated. Now, he added that in some areas there had been more than double the amount of rainfall, which has caused flooding and unfortunately some building structures to collapse. Now, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who is on her swan song visit to Washington, D.C., she actually went there yesterday, said the deadly floods that have hit some part of her country are a catastrophe. I have now been joined on Zoom by a citizen of Germany living in Cologne, the biggest city of FRANCE-EIFFEL region, where they have been mostly affected by the floods. Tanya Sutoba, who joins us on Zoom this morning. Hello, good morning, Tanya.
Hello, good morning.
And great to have you here this morning.
Thank you for asking me for my experiences with this. Thank you.
Great. You have been affected. Before we go on talking, tell me about your experience with the flood.
The experience with this special flood is for the region that is affected, the lower mountains of the Eifel, is very special because you said in the beginning that I live in Cologne. So in Cologne, the 1 million very big town, in the not far away from that, we are used to it in the way that the River Rhine regularly rises, and regularly there are floods, and the big cities are prepared with mobile walls that they rise even before the flood comes, and they have already done so now for Cologne. The situation in the Eifel and with all the towns that you see have been flooded and really with big damages is different. They know little floods, yes, but this time this steady rain, this strong rain that didn't stop for more than 24 hours, and so this caused this extreme flooding for several reasons. All these towns that are affected, and villages, towns and villages, both of them, they have little rivers, and these little rivers, they are normally they are perhaps with 1 meter depth or 2 meters large, and so on. And these little rivers, because of the steady heavy rain before, and because all these little rivers, they somewhere they flow together to another one, which is a little bit larger maybe. So this is already one reason, and of course there's a second reason, that these rivers, they are especially in the villages and the towns affected, they have been straightened. I don't know the real word in English, but they are not natural rivers anymore in these special places. So on the left and on the right, there are there's no possibility for the water to
properly flow.
To despair, yeah, to go to the right and to the left, and when this is the case, the water becomes quicker and quicker and quicker. And it rises very quickly. And this was the case then. And in our special region, not in Cologne, no? I said that the affected places that have been shown in the news, and you showed them as well, they are about between 40 and 100 kilometers away from Cologne. There is another thing that in this region there are a lot of dams that are meant for drinking water, and these dams are completely full, and there are some of them that are either already overflooded. There is one called Ruhrtalsperre, and another one that is overflooded, but slowly. So it is not really under control, but it is not a broken dam either.
Tonya, I want to find out. You mentioned to me earlier before we came here on the news. You were telling me that climate is this forms part of your climate change and the happenings in Germany. Tell me more about that.
I'm not a meteorologist, but what we see is that in the last years we had in Germany we had last year and the year before we had higher temperatures and heat than ever before, and still not comparable with what we saw in Canada and the US, but it was this, and this year it's the rains, and I personally think that this is the first results that we can not only read somewhere published by specialists who are talking about it for 20 years by now, that climate change, if we don't take measures to stop the global heating, then we'll have these results of uncontrollable weather situations. And my personal conviction is that this is this example is one very dangerous example, and it should stop. It should be, with this experience of damage to persons, to the landscape, to the economy as well, that this is the red, you know, the red. Help me with in English.
I talking about a thermometer.
Pardon?
I talking about a thermometer.
So it's really oops. It is reality. It is not only in studies and people talking far away in their universities about climate change. It is reality. Yes, we all know it, but this is an example how it can be and it will be in the future.
All right, thank you so much for your time last year on the Newsman. I'm grateful for your time. Great to have you. So I have been talking to Tanya Sutuba, who is all the way in Germany, Cologne, where they've been affected by the rains and the huge heavy floods that have brought down buildings and lives and loss and all that. Let's still stay in Germany. But this time around, we talk about Germany and relationship with the U.S. as Angela Merkel kicked off her visit to the United States with a stop at the Naval Observatory residence of Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, Harris and Merkel spoke for just under 2 minutes outside the front door before heading indoors for a work conversation.
I'm very honored to see you, and I look forward to our conversation. And it goes without saying that the relationship between our two countries is one founded on many shared values.
The United States and Germany are key NATO allies, but are at odds over a host of tough issues, including the Nord Stream 2 pipeline being built from Russia to Germany under the Baltic Sea, which Washington fears will increase European reliance on Russian gas. They also disagree over the wisdom of partnering with China on business deals, continuing restrictions on travel to the United States from Europe, and Germany's opposition to temporary patent waivers aimed at speeding COVID-19 vaccine production.
And I think that we can indeed cooperate very well in order to...
And Angela Merkel there on her last visit to places as she bows out from being the Chancellor for Germany. Now, the European Union's executive on Thursday, July 15, expressed deep concern over a ruling by Poland's constitutional tribunal that Poland should not heed a decision by the bloc's top court. Now, the decision reaffirmed worries over the rule of law in Poland. A spokesman for the European Commission stated.
Indeed, the Commission is deeply concerned by the decision of the Polish Constitutional Tribunal made yesterday, which states that the interim measures ordered by the Court of Justice of the European Union in the area of the functioning of the judiciary are inconsistent with the Polish Constitution. This decision actually reaffirms our concerns about the state of the rule of law in Poland. The Commission has always been very clear on this matter and reaffirms once more the EU law has primacy over national law, and all decisions by the European Court of Justice, including orders for interim measures, are binding on member states' authorities and national courts. The rights of EU citizens and businesses must be protected in the same way across all member states. The European Commission expects Poland to ensure that all decisions of the European Court of Justice are fully and correctly implemented.
Now, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Thursday that the worst of the coronavirus pandemic will be behind him if the country is careful, meaning that the economy could recover like the coiled spring.
The Prime Minister's speech was part of setting out his vision for a levelling up strategy, which was one of his main election pledges when he won a large majority in a 2019 general election. Johnson also said he was not attracted to the idea of putting additional taxes on sugar and salt in food to try to cut obesity levels, as suggested by an independent review. Responding to a question on earlier comments he has made concerning race, Johnson again said he condemned the racist abuse of the English soccer players following the team's defeat in the final of Euro 2020 and said he has always said it was wrong to boo England players.
And now in Greece, the country offered to share its experience on migrant issues with Lithuania as it handles a sharp rise in the number of people crossing its border, now which Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis characterized as Belarus instrumentalizing human beings for political purposes.
What Belarus is doing is simply unacceptable. Instrumentalizing human beings for political purposes. In the current situation, we agreed that we need to coordinate our common positions regarding the negotiation for the new European Migration and Asylum Pact. And our shared aim is to achieve a just and effective common European policy, one that will clearly not overburden member states exposed to migratory pressures due to their geography. I wish to take this opportunity to underline in the strongest possible terms that Greece is committed to protecting its borders, which are also the borders of the European Union, while always ensuring full respect for human rights. And we will continue to do so, both in respect to our sovereign responsibilities, but also in line with EU regulations. And this, of course, includes intercepting attempted illegal crossings at sea. Again, Prime Minister, welcome to Athens.
Thank you very much, dear Prime Minister. This is how we have now, I guess, more than 20 times more of people who crossed the border up to today than any previous year of 2020 or 2019. And the whole number, the total number might not seem very frightening, but what is frightening is the trend, because this main influx happened in a very short time frame. And we clearly see that there are processes and procedures that are operational to make this flow even bigger, starting from the decisions of Lukashenko to withdraw from readmission agreements, relations, and so definitely we are facing this as a complicated challenge, both in logistical terms, given that we were never on the route or on a bigger road of people trying to get to European Union. So this is a little bit sudden, and we need to expand our capacities to keep people at some conditions that respect their human dignity quite fast and in quite vast amount. And of course, the whole procedure that starts the asylum requests and that are usual in these situations takes time and effort from our institutions and puts additional burden that was not planned and that we need to cope with. One thing I want to say from the beginning: Lithuania is a country that very much understands how people feel when they are persecuted, when they are tortured, when they are put to jail on fake charges, because this is what happens in Belarus for many years. And this is what is very intense in Belarus after fake elections of 2020. And we've provided...
Thank you, Prime Minister.
We want to point that clear, that Lithuania is not a corridor, is not a track towards the European Union, towards Sweden, Germany, or other countries. We want to say that if there are procedures and there are legal instruments to request for asylum if there is a need. Belarus is not a country that might be considered unsafe for other people than Belarusian media, civil society, and people having dissenting opinion from Lukashenko. So definitely there will be...
and I do hope that this tricky situation...
And that was a conversation between Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis and also Lithuania's counterpart in Grida. Right, still watching the World News live here on Metro TV. We are back from the break, still with more. Don't go anywhere.
We are one man short. Should we invite him?
Yeah.
It be old cargo.
Can I join you guys?
Yeah.
Always drink fresh, natural, mix, mineral, water.
still got it. Always keep hydrated naturally. That's my secret.
Manufactured with the primary aim of preserving nature's finest minerals necessary for a healthy mind and body. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
Are you tired as a consumer in Ghana when it comes to issues that confront you as a consumer? Worry no more. Kofi Capito, I'm here to give you the information, all that you need to make sure that your right is protected as a consumer. We have too many laws and agencies that should protect the right of the consumer. I'm here to give you the information that will help and assist you to get goods and services delivered to you without any worries. Watch the Capito Show on Metro TV.
We're still live here on Metro TV, and this is The World Today. Let's now do some sports. Now, a group of athletes were jogging on a recent cold morning at a track an hour from the capital of Nairobi. Now, a coach blew out instructions and blew on her whistle as the runners went around the track. Among those running is Angelina Naida Lohalith and Paulo Amoton Lokoro, two athletes heading to the Tokyo Olympics, representing a special group, the Olympic refugee team.
Mwende pamoja.
Last month, the International Olympic Committee announced an expanded refugee team of 29 athletes competing across 12 sports at the Tokyo Games, scheduled to begin on July 23. The team will compete under the Olympic flag and includes athletes from Syria, South Sudan, Eritrea, Afghanistan and Iran, and is almost 3 times as big as the inaugural team at the Rio de Janeiro 2016 Olympics. Lohalith, who hails from South Sudan and has lived in Kenya's Kakuma refugee camp since 2002 after escaping civil war at home, will run in the 1,500 meters. She showed promise in high school, and in 2015, a teacher encouraged her to take part in a race organized by the Tegla Lorup Foundation, an organization founded by Kenya's former marathon world record holder Tegla Lorup.
I used to tell myself that one time I will travel with the aeroplane in various places, but I never knew that what will make me to travel. I just know that one time I'm going to travel. But now it happened in 2016 that I traveled to Brazil and competed in International Olympic. Then I realized that, oh, I have a talent that can take me far. For me, it was I was really happy for it.
Lohalith told Reuters that she had harbored dreams of seeing the world, but was never sure how she could make that happen until 5 years ago. Lohalith is leading to the Olympics for the second time, and she's hoping to cut down her time to under 4 minutes 30 seconds. Lorup said Lohalith and her teammates will be in Tokyo on merit. The coronavirus, which halted sports around the world, forced Lohalith to leave her training facilities in Ngong, and she headed back to Kakuma, a camp in northeast Kenya that is home to 160,000 refugees, according to the United Nations Refugees Agency. The disruption, which lasted almost a year, had an impact as lack of a suitable environment to train took a toll. Her compatriot Lokoro, who also runs the 1,500-meter distance and will be joining her in Tokyo for the Games, said that the training alone can be isolating. Lokoro also competed in Rio, hopes to get through the heat in Japan. The refugee team members will represent 11 countries.
Now they are competing because of time. The time when COVID-19 broke, we went home to refugee camps almost now a year. So our good shape that we were, it went down. So by that time, now being in the refugee camp, most of the time it is challenging. It's not a kind of a good place that you can train with. First of all, it was because of the weather. Then the place is not, sometimes it's not safe for training. But then we never lose hope. I never lose hope because I know there is something ahead of me. It is not something that happened to me only, it happened to the whole world.
When you train as a group, so at least.
So still on Tokyo 2020. Now, once seen as something for misfits and goof-offs, skateboarding makes its Olympic debut in Tokyo with the blessing of one of the sport's godfathers, Tony Hawk, and a cautionary note to never forget your roots.
I love skateboarding in its diversity in that respect. That there are these hardcore, more soulful skaters that want to do it on their own terms. They don't want to be judged against anyone else. They want to do it. Maybe they want to do it for a living, and they've found some way to make that work, whether it be through social media or through endorsements or through exhibitions. I feel like there is plenty of room for that because it's a big tent now. And so there'll be these people over here that are high performance competitors that will thrive in the Olympic setting. And then there are people over here that don't want to be compared to anyone because it is their art form and it is their outlet, yet they can be successful at it in a different way. I think in the years, especially in snowboarding, when it first got introduced, none of our sports as action sports, as we call them, had broken into the mainstream yet, really, in any sort of significant way. So when that happened, it was like a sudden jump ahead from being underground and then suddenly on the Olympic stage. And luckily, skateboarding got to go through this growth cycle between that and now, so that skateboarding now is as big as any Olympic sport and has big mainstream sponsors, has huge events. So it doesn't seem that far-fetched that it would be held under the Olympic banner because we already have international big events like that. I doubt that we're going to see any NBDs, what we call never been done tricks. But I think that when you see the level of skating through the course of the event, you're going to see how it ramps up, literally and figuratively, into way more technical and riskier tricks. And that's when it's going to get really exciting.
Quite refreshing for all skateboarders out there as they make their debut to the Olympic 2020 in Tokyo. Let's now do some business as Wall Street's main indexes open lower on Thursday following the latest batch of quarterly corporate earnings reports.
While data show the number of Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits fell last week as expected, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 8.4 points or 0.02% at the open to 34924.81. The S&P 500 fell 5.3 points or 0.12% at the open to 4,369.02, while the Nasdaq Composite dropped 9.2 points or 0.06% to 14635.781 at the opening bell.
Still the World Today Live on Metro TV at exactly 7 a.m. this morning. Trends from Ghana with Nanaya Wachitanwa and Koju Nyantachi Kranton will be here giving you the latest happenings across Ghana. But for now, it is the World Today. We are back from the break with more.
For a reliable partner in dealing with your U-turn bus needs has been made easier and convenient with SA Automobile. SA Automobile, formerly U-turn Ghana Limited, has been in the business of offering quality U-turn products and services at competitive rates. At SA Automobile, our team of expert staff, management, engineers and mechanics professionally deal in the sale of U-turn buses, genuine spare parts, its repairs and maintenance at a highly effective workshop with remarkable speed, We also have available the sale of Camel car batteries, Weichai and Kia spare parts, Zonton coaches and light-duty vehicles for everyday movement. Contact us on 020-000-0831 or 054-555-7500. You can also email us info@saautomobilegh.com or visit our website at www.saautomobilegh.com. SA Automobile, the pleasure of doing business with you is all ours.
And welcome, still watching us live here on Metro TV The World Today. Let's now talk about France and the opening of the Eiffel Tower, where visitors are already there. Now Paris iconic Eiffel Tower is set to reopen on Friday today. Now, much to the enthusiasm of tourists and businesses alike, the beloved tourist attraction was closed in October 2020 due to COVID-19 crisis, which has hit the Paris tourism industry hard. The latest closure was the longest since World War II. Interesting one there. We had a conversation with some tourists yesterday.
The attraction receives 7 million visitors each year during normal times, according to its website. From Friday, visitor number will be limited to 10,000 a day to meet social distancing requirements, fewer than half of their pre-COVID levels, French media have reported. Only half of the usual numbers will be allowed in the lifts. Tourists, mainly from Europe and the United States, are back in Paris, offering a glimmer of hope for businesses that rely on the influx of travelers to one of the world's most visited cities. The flow of tourists to Paris, many of them from Asia and US, dried up almost completely last year when the COVID-19 pandemic struck and governments around the world imposed travel restrictions. Now, with the infection rates falling, France is gradually easing restrictions. A mandate requiring people to wear masks outdoors has been dropped and a nighttime curfew was rescinded. The Paris Tourism Office said tourism accounted for about 6.5% of the Greater Paris region's economy in 2019.
Definitely, and we have been looking forward to visit Paris and see the Eiffel Tower. And I've been here, I think, 4 or 5 times in my life, and to show my daughter the Eiffel Tower is a big thing. Yeah.
Yes, we will come here tomorrow if it will be open. It will be very nice to see Eiffel Tower very close. So,
why is it so important to see the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, because this is the main area, main point, tourist point over here. So I think it is the most attractive thing in Paris.
L'avantage de quand la Tour Eiffel est ouverte, c'est que toute la journée, il y a un flux de circulation de gens qui vont à la Tour Eiffel, après descendent prendre le bateau, se promènent entre le Trocadéro et École Militaire. C'est vrai que ça, pour nous, c'est comme ça que notre activité existe. Ah bah évidemment, puisqu'on a beaucoup moins de monde sans cette attraction qui fait venir des milliers de personnes.
Oui, bonjour.
In as much as the new Delta variant is with us, countries and businesses are finding ways to stay in touch. Now, Britain's Duchess Meghan Markle has created an animated family series for streaming platform Netflix that she will also executive produce, her production company stated.
Productions, the company formed by Meghan and her husband Prince Harry, said in a statement the series would be centered on the adventures of a 12-year-old girl who is inspired by a variety of influential women from history. The series, called Pearl, is one of the first to be announced by Netflix and the British couple formerly known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They struck the deal last year after they quit their royal duties and moved to California. No date was given for the launch of the series. Meghan will executive produce the series along with David Furnish, the husband of British singer Elton John. The statement said, John is a close friend of Harry and Meghan and performed at their wedding reception in 2018. The animated series follows the announcement last year of a Netflix project that is close to Harry's heart, a documentary series about the Invictus Games for wounded servicemen and women. It follows the publication last month of Meghan's first book, The Bench, a children's story about fatherhood that she said was inspired by Harry's relationship with the couple's first child, Aki. Meghan gave birth to a daughter, Lilibet Lily Diana, in June.
Let's now talk about cars, and Aston is out with another one. Take a look at this.
The Valhalla will be powered by 4.0-litre twin turbocharged V8 engine, which will be linked to electric motors, given the ability to hit a top speed of 217 meters per hour, that is 349 kilometers. Aston Martin have yet to reveal the car's cost, which it will likely announce ahead of the car's introduction to the production line.
You can always raise a question, what should you do in the middle of a pandemic? But for us at Aston Martin, mid-engine programs is the third pillar in our program, in our portfolio for the future. And I see good demand on our core business at the moment. DBX, order intake for all our cars is in line with our expectation.
And Aston Martin calls that the Valhalla, a car we'll love to drive. That's it for the news. Let's now cross over to the set for this morning, where Nanaya Bwachitanwa and Kojo Nyantachi are waiting to give the latest happenings in Ghana. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Oh, okay. Good morning to you.
I like the car.
You like what?
The car.
I was rather expecting Kojo to say that.
Valhalla.
Oh, well, I have told her I would get one for her, so.
You get one for her?
Yeah.
That's quite. She can afford it as well, Nanaya.
Of course.
Yeah, she can afford it. Let's say, catch you off on Nanaya. But what's the latest happening in Ghana?
Okay, so the government of Ghana has abrogated some contracts. Okay, to mention a few, the Sputnik V contract that we had with the middleman Sheikh, that has been cancelled. You know, the $19 per vaccine. You heard of that contract, right?
Exactly.
Yes, that has been abrogated. As well as government as well terminates the contract for the supply of MaxSets. So, you know, that contract had an amount of 63.9 million Ghana cedis. So that contract as well has been abrogated. But then the one that has, gained some traction is the PASCO. Did you ever use PASCO when you were in school?
Yes, you had no option. You have to back the lead, you understand?
Okay, so Nana is giving one brand, Akiola. So the Ministry of Education is in the news, all because the government decided to procure some, number of past questions for the final year students of the WASEI. That has, made some noise all over social media. I will talk much on that later.
Let me not let you give out everything to our viewers. They will stay tuned at 7 a.m. for us to give them the latest happenings here in Ghana. Nanaya, thank you. And so, yeah, about the vaccines, I remember weeks ago, we had a conversation here on the Newsbeat on Metro TV with Marcus Tobiasen, all the way in Norway, who actually came out and reported that Ghana had been buying vaccines from the middleman. It became a very big issue, and we were told yesterday that suspension of these vaccines purchase has been done by Parliament and government. And that's it for the news here. On the World News today, we came away with a news from COVID-19 World Health Organization saying that Africa has recorded higher numbers, 40% increase in infections here in Africa. And also the Olympics, Libyan migrant are making their first appearance at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. And that's it for the news here this morning. I am Bryce Nanakosi. I'm live from the studio here at Regional Accra. This is the Kuya Bohima Studio, and this is the World Today. Have a good morning.
It's this one live on Metro Television. We are live on DSTV channel 277, live on Facebook and also on YouTube, Metro TV GH. You're welcome to this morning. My name is Danaya Tanwa.
And I am Kojonya Ntechi.
And as always, we start our day with some motivational and inspirational quotes for you. I really love the quote. Work hard in silence. Let success make the noise. Ha! Let success make the noise. Hey, work hard in silence. Work hard in silence. You see, people actually sometimes unexpectedly it comes and you have a very flashy car, a very big mansion, or maybe you've acquired some wealth and people are like, hey, where did this person get this or that? But didn't know you were working in silence. Let whatever you have, do the noise for you.
Okay. You know, something diabolic came in mind, but then I don't want to touch on it.
What's diabolic?
So there's this, you know, you gave an analogy, and then straight my mind went to the people who acquire wealth through dubious means. Does that mean when they were, you know, behind the scenes doing all those shady deals and all that, they were working hard in silence? Anyway,
it's okay.
That's how come I wanted to keep it. All right, so you know the weather keeps changing rapidly, and then you never know if it's going to rain or it's going to shine. But then we here on This Morning, we help you prepare for the day by bringing you the weather report. So here's the weather report for the next 24 hours.